I think you could stay in automotive and just follow that thought.
Yeah.
So there's 30 million 2019 Toyota Corollas.
Yeah.
That's the most popular mass-produced vehicle in the world, I think. The 2019 Toyota Corolla, there's more of those than any other car. And there's, 50 million 2019 Toyota Corollas were sold as of 2021.
Jeez.
There's no functional equivalent in buildings. I mean, that just boggles the mind. Now, that's automotive, but also in automotive, you have McLarens. Yeah. McLarens are built in batch production mode. They're not mass produced. Toyota Corollas come in all kinds of flavors and styles too, right? Interiors, exteriors, colors, options. But Toyota Corolla is a Toyota Corolla. Everybody knows what that is.
Yeah.
If you go look at things like Ferrari, McLaren, all these kind of supercars, well, they don't make that many of them. And they have a different production process. It's more about small batch. Now, it's not to say that small batch manufacturing doesn't make you money. You can be profitable doing small batch size manufacturing. You can be profitable doing made to stock, which is what the Toyotas are, because they know what the demand's going to be globally and they build to that. Versus you have to go and order your Bugatti, right? And then they'll make it for you.
Wait 18 months and then you finally get it. Right.
They fly you out so you can see it getting made and all of that. But Bugatti's making money on those cars. It's not like they don't know how to make money on it. So that's kind of my point is the batch size kind of tells you something about the business model. And you can work to that batch size successfully. You don't have to have it all come down an assembly line. It still works. And some of the work that's going on in the Nordic countries is looking at the differences in small batch size manufacturing and how that's differentiated from, say, a mass produced. But it's all industrialized. It all uses the same lean thinking. It all applies the same principles. It's just a matter of degree, in my opinion. I don't think you throw the baby out with the bathwater just because of the batch size, but you got to pay attention to it. That's for sure.
The automotive recall. That's another
automotive.
When you get a recall and bring them back, the airbags broke. Everybody needs to get a safety recall on the seatbelt or something's not working. Now, everybody's got to go back to the dealership with the new car and get the rework. We found this on the Wawa stores we did. You get one thing baked in, and all of a sudden you're 20 of them down the road. And it's like, oh, geez, okay, I've done that 20 times. Yeah.
Nobody told you though. That was the other thing. Is like they just deal with it in the field. They would make it happen, and then they wouldn't tell you. And then they just deal with it again and again and again and again.
That is such an important point.
I don't know how many times we have seen repetitious projects.
No, well, that's a big problem actually I've dealt with is that I think it's beautiful. Construction people are heroes, really.
Yeah.
I liken them to firefighters and cowboys, right? That's your ideal superintendent. He's a firefighter. He's a cowboy. He can get it done. He can improvise. He uses all his skills and creativity to solve unforeseen conditions all the time and keep everything rolling, right? And that's the kind of guy you want on your job site. The problem you get into in industrialized is as we start serializing things, you've got to have controls. And that's stuff that guys in the construction industry aren't used to, the level of reporting and controls, because I've got to know, say I'm back at HQ and we're tracking the job with you, we've got to know where those defects are because we may be building 50 more of them out here in the back. And if you don't report that back, we can't be fixing it 50 times. And so quality assurance, quality control guys, the documentation that's required. Obviously, we want to use digital to make that as slick and efficient as we can do. But without that data, you're running blind. And so we've got to start training and socializing that principle with our best-in-class construction guys, to start developing the data. As they're executing the project, they've got to report the data back in a way that we can read so that we can address that in our IC plan, in our batch production process, and make sure it gets dealt with. The other thing is, don't just fix it. There's something wrong that, say, the designers need to address. And so often, as you guys know, we have that kind of dichotomy between, the design guys, they do what they do, but we all, they ain't gonna do it right. You heard that a million times, right? They ain't gonna do it right. Well, but we don't say anything. We fix it. You can't do that anymore. That really doesn't work for you. That's not an advantage. So I like to think about the construction industry of the future a little bit how I like to think about like Navy SEALs, and I'm not an expert on this. Actually, I was reading about this, getting ready for this interview. But if you think about a small, highly functional cross-trained team, remember, in the future, we're going to have fewer guys doing more high-level work, right? And imagine MEP and structural and carpentry as one unit. We're building them as multi-trade assemblies in a facility with guys like that on the line. We put them out in the field. These guys are mobile. They're well geared, and they know how to install this stuff efficiently. If there's a problem with the plumbing connection, there's a guy there that's specialized that knows how to deal with it. If there's a problem with the electrical or low voltage, there's a guy on that crew that knows how to deal with it. But they also know how to install. They also know how to stage. They also know how quickly they need to go in and out. And so I think that gets me really excited for my son, the kind of business he could have working with others that are multi-trade, higher margin, lower volume work, higher skill, because all the low skill stuff we're doing in the plant, we may be automating that stuff in the future. So where do these guys go? They go higher up in the value stream, and they're being compensated for it, but they're also a lot more efficient than we've ever seen. And I think that's the future, and I think that's an exciting future for us,